Welcome everyone, my name is brodry4 and today I'm coming to you with my very first video ever. My favorite series is One Piece, and so I decided for my first video I'm going to do a analysis of various Yorkie theories that I've read throughout the past year or so. Now, for those of you who don't know, Yorkie is a very mysterious character in the One Piece world. He was the captain of the Rumbar Pirates, which happens to be the crew that Brook's from, and the crew that promised to return to see Laboon one day. Now, the reason that York is such a mysterious character is because supposedly he dies from a mysterious illness that he gets one day from going to a jungle. So supposedly the illness is too strong and it kills him. But there are a lot of us who think that he's actually alive. Now, why do we think that he's alive? And if so, what has he been up to? So that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to kind of analyze a couple of the theories that I've read, see whether I think they can hold true. Maybe do I think they're completely false? Well, let's see. So the first picture I'm going to show you guys today is this. It's one of the cover stories where they kind of catch up with a lot of the secondary characters throughout the world of One Piece, and this one happens to be a picture of Crocus, the caretaker of Laboon, and he's meeting with a mysterious figure. Long white hair, so obviously he's old. And so the way Oda does this foreshadowing is that he normally covers up characters when we've seen them before, and he doesn't want to reveal who they are yet. And so in this case, since he has his back turned to us, this character is probably an important character that we've seen before, or either in flashback or in real life. And the big giveaway is Laboon. Laboon looks very cheerful, as if he recognizes the person. So by that we can assume, or it's more not assume, but it gives us a strong hint as to the fact that Yorkie is alive, mainly because of the hat. Yorkie always wore a hat. Also the cape that he wears on the back. Yorkie always carried like a long trench coat looking thing, so it's consistent with his style. Okay, so I mean this is a pretty dead giveaway. I mean probably 70 to 80% confirms that Yorkie is alive. And so if he is alive, how did he survive? Let's see some of the theories that people have come up with. So the first picture I have here is a picture of his actual they show his illness. Okay, and the first, everyone's grieving here, and here he says something very important: will escape from the calm belt one way or another. Now, what is the calm belt? Well, the calm belt is the area that covered by sea kings. It's the hundreds of sea kings, each one of them able to take down an entire ship. So how exactly does one escape from through the calm belt? We'll look into that later. For now, let's just keep looking at it. So right here in the bottom picture, and in the bottom part of the bottom panel, you can see kind of the dots. His illness is characterized by dark splotches, dark blobs of different sizes. And you'll see in this next picture right here. Here's a better picture. You can see the blobs more, the blocks better defined, and you can see that they go down from his face, and they go down towards his neck, down towards possibly down towards the bottom of the rest of his body. And you see a pattern right here on his forehead. So what kind of disease is it? Well, we know that he said that he got it as they were going through a jungle. Okay. So that kind of the pattern, the pattern plus the fact that he got in a jungle, got a lot of people thinking, what kind of disease is it? Okay. And so the first one that comes to mind is the tree rush. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, tree rush is a disease that the Shandorians had, and that they would sacrifice people to try to get the gods to appease the gods to get it to go away. And here's one picture. You can see the old man again. It looks very similar to the one Yorkie has. You got the dark spots. Uh, here's another picture of the kid. Let's see. Here, yeah. Now this one's a bit different. This one's that looks like looks like a big, just blob, which is kind of different. But again, it's the same one as this. It's the same disease that this old man has. So we should assume it's the same, even though the pattern's a bit different. Okay. And so tree rush is well, they have it. It's actually a curable disease in the known world. Um, and Nolan, Montblanc Nolan, who is my favorite character from One Piece, and a very mysterious figure, kind of like Yorkie. He actually was able to cure the kid using medicine. Okay. We'll see right here. Here's another picture. Now notice here how he gets spots again from top of his head, and it kind of like goes down his neck, similar to how Yorkie's did. Okay, it goes down towards his neck, towards the bottom, towards the chest area. And here you can see some of the bigger spots down here. So you have smaller spots and bigger spots. And so this tree rush seems to be very similar to the disease that Yorkie had. So that's what's the first theory. The first theory is that he had the same disease. Okay. And so Montblanc Nolan actually says that the disease comes from the trees that they actually worshipped. The dead trees, they had the disease. And so what ends up happening is he cuts down the trees, and they're saved. They get saved. And so how exactly does he get the disease? Well, one theory is that it actually, like, here's like another theory that builds up upon this one, is that the tree disease actually no longer, over time, it gets extinct. People can't get it anymore, but it actually is still transferred through insects. So although the trees are all wiped out, there's a couple insects that still carry the disease, and that they over time they bred, and they continue to carry the disease in specific in quarantine locations. And so that carries into the next theory, which is has to do with this. Now, this is the chapter where Nami meets the doctor Kureha, Doctorine, and here she explains a bit of the origin of the disease, or not the origin, but she explains a little bit of the disease. The first thing, again, here you got spots. Now in this case, it's only one area, and it's in a circular pattern. So to me, it's I can't really, it's hard to say whether it's the same thing. I personally don't believe it is, but the theory, I'm kind of analyzing the theory, so I'm going along with it. Okay. And they were bitten by an insect called Kasha. So the insect called Kasha carries a poison from tropical forest. Okay. So the theory is that the trees died out, the disease became extinct, but the insects still carried them. And so Nami is able to get cured. It will spread the bacteria into the person's body, and within 5 days, that person will suffer from high fever. Later, it will affect the heart, brain. It doesn't really matter. But here's the next page. The next page. It used to be known as 5-day fever. However, Kasha has been extinct for over 100 years. Okay, has been extinct for over 100 years. So that's why people believe that this is an evolution of the virus or the bacteria. It's because it's been extinct. So the trees, they were able to take care of the trees. Then the insects, the few that carried them were taken out, but there could still be a couple insects roaming in the area. Um, and luckily, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Luckily, she had some antibiotic. Okay, so it has been extinct for over 100 years, but she still had some antibiotic for it. So this leads people to believe that Dr. Kureha had already dealt with the patient that had this disease before. Okay, seeing as how she's actually very old, she's able to maintain. I think she's over 100 years old. They never really explain how she does that. And then she says, "Did you go walking in an ancient forest or something?" Now we knew that she got this disease from Little Garden. Uh, and same thing when we were dealing with Yorkie, he got it from a jungle. Okay. Now we got to think about this first. Uh, if Luffy met Brook on the path to the New World, right? We know that there's several paths they meet at Sabaody at Archipelago. Well, we can assume since Luffy met Brook on the path that Yorkie, after leaving from Crocs' island, that he followed the same path that Luffy did. So he would have gone through the same islands, the one where they fought the Baroque's work people, then Little Garden, uh, and that's near Alabama. No, that's near Little Drum, which is where Kureha lives. So one theory is that since they followed the same path, that assuming the paths were the same back then, probably like 50 or 60 years ago. Well, the theory is that they would have followed the same island, so they would have gone to Little Garden, possibly gotten infected there, and then since Drum Island was close, he got the infection, would have gone to Drum Island, maybe on the way to the Calm Belt, and gotten cured by Dr. Kureha there, since she's pretty old, even compared to Yorkie. So, yeah, again, Nami's characterized by the dots. Again, I I don't actually think that that's true, just because of the pattern it's not consistent with Tree Rush or the one we saw with Yorkie. Okay, so um, let's say that he got to the Calm Belt. Okay, let's say he got to the Calm Belt. How would he survive? Because the Sea Kings would just eat him or eat the ship. Well, here's what people are suggesting. Well, first of all, just as a side note, to survive in the Calm Belt, I think what they do is that they put Sea Prism Stone on the bottom of all their ships, so the Marines, as well as Amazon Lily people, do that. So, how did he survive? Well, another theory is that it has to do with the people from the old grandma from Amazon Lily. I forgot her name, but she's like the third empress before Boa Hancock. So there were two before Boa, and then the empress. Okay. Now, here they're talking about love sickness, a disease where the empress falls in love and they die if they don't express their emotions. And so the previous empress died of the disease as well, and the empress before her had the same sickness, love sickness. I came down with the same disease and left the country, though I survived. Okay? I came down with the same disease and left the country. Why would she leave the country? Okay? And she came down with the same disease. So, this got people thinking, who did she fall in love with? Is it important, or is it just, she could fall in love with anyone, but theory is that Yorkie in the Calm Belt ran into the either he ran into or the Amazon Lily people, on a boat ran into him, and they had no choice but to save him, and that way, that's how the grandma, who appears to be very old, probably in her 80s, and Yorkie, who I assume is about the same age as Brooke, who is about 88 before the time skip, 90 after the time skip. So they're about the same age. I mean, I would assume, because again, there's 3 generations of empresses after the old lady, so I would assume she's in her 80s. Um, so the theory is that she fell in love with Yorkie, and then she saved him a lot. That's how he got through the calm belt, and then she left with him to in order to survive the love sickness. Okay. Do I believe that theory? I mean, it makes sense it makes sense for the fact that he had to have some way of surviving going through the calm belt. Uh, there's no way. There's just no way you can survive without the sea prism under your boat, which I really doubt that they had. You know, seeing as how it's a very rare item. So I do believe that if he is alive, he did run into the Amazon Lily people, and if I'm not saying that she fell in love with him, but I do see it as a possibility of a way that he survived. Is that he was assisted by the people of Amazon Lily. Okay, so all in all, is Yorkie alive? Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. I definitely think he's alive. Of of the three, I believe that I believe that this is the one I least believe in. That Yorkie was saved by Kuroha due to her already having the antidote to a very similar looking virus. Although it's possible, I do agree that it's possible, but that's the one I'm least likely in support of. I do actually like this tree rush one though, mainly because the similar pattern, specifically this one right here. Again, going from the face down towards the neck, down towards the body, similar to Yorkie's, and it's in trees. And there being a cure to it, there's a for sure cure for it, because Mont Blanc Nolan was able to cure these people. So this is the theory I agree most with. Okay. And so that pretty much concludes the Yorkie part. I do have a quick aside that has to do with the latest chapter of One Piece. Now, if you read it, you've probably seen, and there's hundreds of people talking about this, the Meadow Kaido theory, where they believe that the Meadow character from D Block is Kaido in disguise. And yeah, I saw this theory about 2 weeks ago, and it makes sense that he's at least Kaido, or I believe either Kaido or someone like Kaido, or someone under him. Mainly because of this. In the same chapter where they introduced the fighters for C Block and D Block, when they introduced Meadow, this first chapter where they introduce him, I also saw this. Now this is the manga stream translation, which tends to be a lot better than the Manga Panda translation. And here you see they're talking about the fighters. Here's the interesting part right here. Why are such beasts bothering with this tournament? Oh, my dogs are barking. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Why are such beasts bothering with this tournament? Beast, King of Beast Kaido. Oda loves to foreshadow stuff like this. This being the chapter where they introduce Meadow. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I thought I'd point it out. A lot of people aren't talking about this specific part of the theory. They're not really pointing this out. They're pointing out other obvious things, which I think are less important, or equally important. They shouldn't leave this out. It only strengthens their theory. So, yeah. I hope you guys loved my first video. I'm going to try to do a couple of videos, or maybe like a video every week or two or something. I don't have a lot of time to do these, but I will do a video soon that separate on the side that has nothing to do with One Piece. But yeah, I will mainly do One Piece videos since it's my favorite series. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later.